off the mark. Gather round sovereigns, we're navigating our pineal glands with Meeks, Kali, and Tootie Odin, reclaiming our native lands, we're off the mark.
Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Off the Mark. I am your host, Tootie O. With me, as always, my beautiful co-host, Miss Meeks Kali. And today we have our very first guest on the show. Very excited, ridiculously excited. I get to have my two greatest friends on the show with me, and we get to talk Simpsons today. We're going to take a breather from all the politics. Well, no, we're not. That's a lie. But we are going to just have some fun today, and I'm really excited for this episode. I hope you guys will enjoy it just as much as I do. So a person doesn't need no introduction at all, but I'm going to introduce him anyway. Mr. Mike G, how are you, sir?
Doing great. How are you doing today?
We're doing well, man. I'm excited, man.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, man. This is
Excited to have you on.
Thank you so much. Yeah, my coffee is still warm, so all is good in the world.
All is good. All is right in the world. This is fine.
It's super not, but
yeah. So today, Simpsons predictions. One of my favorite subjects in the world is The Simpsons. I have a very sick obsession. I think all three of us kind of have an obsession with the show. We grew up on it. We've done episodes on them with Mike G on his podcast, just because it's just, I mean, it's thousands of episodes that we can talk about, and more than half of them have vital information, which is kind of interesting for a cartoon, if you ask me. So yeah, without any further hesitation, I want us to get started. Ms. Meeks Kelly, you're always good with setup and structure. Just let me know how you want to do this, and I'm in.
Yeah, so the Simpsons are notorious for predicting the future, whether they happen to have like prophets as some of their writers, or some of them are Freemasons or stonecutters, who knows? But somehow their episodes seem to correlate with real life years in the future, and sometimes just they seem kind of inevitable that, you know, some people write it off that, well, of course technology would increase in this way, or like, of course Lady Gaga's going to do a Super Bowl. But sometimes the details or some of the other predictions are just so far-fetched that the synchronicities that it would have to be for that to appear in a cartoon like that is astronomical or whatever, like the likelihood of it. So we wanted to just share some of our favorite Simpsons predictions from each of us, because we all adore the show, and kind of how that correlated with our life at the time that like the prediction was first came about, or how we think that applies to now. And there's been several even during this year of 2020, and a lot of fake ones too, because now it's such like a cult thing that Simpsons has predictions that now it's so easy to make a meme where whatever like the headline is, you can do a side-by-side of some type of Simpsons image with like just a little bit of photoshopping and they're exact. So we want to kind of like tune into some of the more legitimate ones, and just to validate that this is a thing, that there is, you know, some coincidence, or, you know, beyond coincidence there with The Simpsons, and to just touch on a couple of their predictions, especially relating to the recent storm on the Capitol and also the upcoming inauguration. And so just to kind of take a look back and then see how that might apply moving forward. So who wants to start with one of their first, or when they first discovered the Simpsons predictions? What was your first prediction you realized?
I'll go first.
Okay, so as you guys know, I lost my notes. I had everything written down. I don't have notes, so I'm gonna let you guys do your thing, and I'm just gonna bounce off of you guys, because it's not like I need notes for the actual cartoon The Simpsons, but like structurally, I don't have my outline with me. So I'm just gonna bounce off of you guys. So yeah, Mike, you start.
That dang Santa's little helper. Awesome. Yes. I'll start with a Treehouse of Horror. Treehouse of Horror. I think it was 19 of my Roman numerals aren't off. This was predicted in 2008, and this is the faulty voter machine episode.
Ah, yes. Perfect start.
Yes, this one really stuck with me because it was pretty much inspired by the 2008 election. It's an episode where Homer goes into the voting box and tries to vote for Barack Obama, but the voting machine has a glitch and causes the actual machine to vote for John McCain over and over and over again. And this was the gag of that episode. Whereas, funny enough, the actual prediction came true in 2012 when there was footage of a Pennsylvania machine that had a vote for Obama come in, but it actually switched over to the Republican opponent, Mitt Romney, at the time.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting how, you know, I guess it's really easy to take into consideration technical error, but something this specific is very unsettling, I would say. You know, so that's my favorite. That's my personal favorite one, just because at the time, the vote for Barack Obama and his potential, I would say, victory as president of the United States was very kind of up and down and very monumental and very, I would say, drastic to the future of the nation. So we were all a bit on edge around that time. And of course, Simpsons knows exactly how to push that button in the right place in the right time. And making this prediction, as they are wont to do, was a little turn of the knife for a lot of us voters who just were very nervous about the situation.
Right,
Yeah.
and it's so like perfect in a Treehouse of Horror episode because they do that. They push the envelope. They see like what is terrorizing, and then apply it to, you know, they're always a reflection of modern day, of the current state of affairs. So
Yeah, and the same
play on
could
our
be-
weaknesses.
Yeah, and the same could be said about just general horror. It's funny that Treehouse of Horror is where we find these more often, right? These predictions, because horror into itself is a reflection of the current, I would say, not necessarily phobias, but fears of the general public overall. You know, horror always reflects the fears of our country, of our world in that moment. Like around the times of 9/11, there was such a, you know, we got to be Americans and stay in America. And then what happens? Hostel comes out, which is the most anti-tourist movie of all time. So it to be in a horror episode is very telling to me.
They do a lot of their predictions in their horror episodes. And I was thinking they actually have a lot of episodes where they're faced with a vote. There's a lot of episodes where they're voting for something, whether it be mayoral or, you know, the president. They've done that several times. And it makes me wonder if The Simpsons is catching up with the status quo, or are they setting the status quo? I mean, they've been around good over 30 years, and they are portrayed as an all-American family, hence the popularity of the cartoon. So it's just I wonder where we're at now when it comes to that. Are they setting it? Are they setting the status quo, or are they just?
I mean, it's not far-fetched. It's not far-fetched to say that, because The Simpsons is in every single living room, in every single house across the world, right? So that influence is set, you know. So I definitely would concur that that is something to be asked. Are they setting the status quo? Are they just happen to have, you know, oracles under the Pentagon that are causing these predictions, you know?
Right. At some point, yeah, these coincidences just aren't coincidences anymore. Yeah, that's a good one. Voter fraud. Man, that's an excellent start, actually. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, they're such a staple to our culture now, and even to be carried beyond TV to like being on multiple platforms. You can watch them on Hulu, on Disney Plus, you know. And that it reminds me almost like of kind of a Dorian Gray type of mirror, like initially that they were the reflection of us, but now somewhere along the line we made the switch where we're the reflection of them, and like they hold you know, the
power,
livelihood, or the consciousness that's progressing. But yeah, that's such a perfect example, and actually that touches to another one of their predictions, which was the presidency of Donald Trump even. So they predicted it in 2000 in season 11, episode 17, and then it came true, of course, in 2016. So in the episode, it's one of those flash forward episodes, and Lisa becomes the president-elect, and she has many like Hillary-esque qualities to her even, and they explain how they inherited quite a budget crunch from Trump, who, you know, was assassinated or passed. I forget what the circumstance was in that episode.
I think it was just
just that he died. He was dead.
I don't think he died. Did
They have a funeral. They had his funeral. Yeah.
No kidding.
Clip. And yeah.
See, I always wonder if, because like you said earlier, people can make memes and create their own cartoons and do this and that. So I don't know if that actually happened on an episode, or if that's just somebody's creation. You know what I mean? Because I don't remember seeing that. I don't remember seeing him in a casket or anything. But
I have images of that. I recall it being in the episode, but I've seen so many like clips of it since, seeing the actual full through episode. But and plus the Mandela effect.
Right. I was thinking that your whole conversation.
My recollection is that it's there.
That. Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. That's dark. If he was assassinated in an episode,
that's what I've been talking about for months. That was my first I'm just gonna put it out there post on my Instagram, was the Simpsons one, and about him being assassinated, and he was getting a lot of backlash then.
Wow.
But yeah, it's been kind of like in the works, and that's been a lot of like the storyline even from the Q folk, is that there could be a fake out assassination and to not believe it, and that the real, Trump is off somewhere doing, some drain in the swamp.
Yeah, he pulled a Michael Jackson, right?
Right.
He's actually a tow truck driver in Iowa.
Elvis.
Yeah, Tupac. They're on an island.
Depending on how far you follow these things, Trump may be Elvis, so it's a whole thing. But some other examples of Simpsons predictions, in addition to the election, were the NSA snooping, which was predicted in 2007 in the Simpsons movie. And then when they're like on the lam, and then it turns out that they were able to listen in on them through their devices, and it like zooms in through the phone and through the wires and stuff like that. And then you see this whole NSA network like listening in on their calls. And then of course, Edward Snowden then brought that to light, that we really were getting spied on the American citizens, and came true in 2013. So there's a few of these things where it's not just that they're like, there's been others I want to touch on real quick about like they predicted FaceTime in 1995, which came true in 2010, so 15 years earlier, which was in season 6, episode 19. And they, in that same episode, they also predicted the smartwatch. So that's the episode where it's in the future, and Lisa at a carnival gets told her future from Oracle, and of who she's going to marry in her wedding. So her fiance has a smartwatch, and again, that was in 95, and that came predicted in 95 and came true in 2014 with the smartwatch. So, and then also they are that is predicting GoPro, which was predicted in 1994 in season 5, episode 13, where Homer is asked to spy on Apu, and he has like his big cowboy hat and has like the little camera inside of it. So that one's more of a stretch to me, which came true in 2004, because like small cameras aren't like new or just singular to Simpsons. Like there's tons of where there's like a small camera, but you could do such a thing with a GoPro. So there's other predictions like that that are just kind of like foreshadowing how technology would naturally progress, which, there's plenty of movies and cinema and whatever culture like does predict how we expect the future to be. But there's a few of these, like the Donald Trump election, like the NSA, like the voter fraud, and a few others that are pointing to like specific, like in a very Oracle, like Nostradamus type sense of like having a revelations to prepare us, almost like a forewarning. So it's an interesting aspect of some of these predictions, that they do so finally tune in to the vulnerabilities of our culture and a society at large. Like even the episode with the election, where it turns out that both of the candidates were really aliens,
Yeah, so who do you vote for?
Who's to say? There's been a lot of talk even this year about like Israel has like administrators in Israel have said that Trump knows that there's aliens and is like hiding it from the American people. And I think in the summer, Donald Trump Jr. did an interview with his dad where like it was really blown up in the promotion of the interview of them doing a one-on-one, that they were going to talk about like Roswell and the alien things and all that declassified stuff that only the president has. And then the actual interview was just really danced around it. So it was disappointing, but their promotion of it was to like get people amped up that like, it's official, there's aliens, he's going to tell us, like, you know, they have the evidence. So yeah, I don't know if either of you want to kind of speak to that, and just like the breadth of the different kinds of predictions and how it's not something that's just like kind of a general foreshadowing.